got another Q&A video. Thank you so much for sending me so many questions this week. It's nice to have some questions to pick and choose and to research a little bit more. So thank you. Keep sending me your questions. All right, first question. I think this question was given to me out of probably the sense of empathy I have for this question. Why does school suck? School sucks because you have people trying to get you to learn in maybe ways that you don't. I don't really know. For me, I felt like it kind of stamped on my creative learning process, which I didn't learn until college. And I didn't like the format of it. Tests were always really difficult for me. The social structure of school was hard. I went to a really big high school, so it was I was pretty anonymous, and I didn't mind that necessarily, but I probably missed out on some social interaction that the normal high school experience provides. But yeah, for me, school just kind of sucked because they made you do it. They they made you go. It was hard for me. I wasn't really great at school. I struggled quite a bit. So that's why school sucks for me. But maybe for you it's something else. But I hope you realize that learning's important, and teaching you how to learn is probably the main thrust of why school is important. You need to learn how to learn. And you need to learn how you yourself learn so that you can, learn. It's nice to know things. Second question. Why is envy one of the 7 deadly sins? So the 7 deadly sins are kind of like this not early necessarily. I want to say like 16th century idea where, these 7 sins are the worst. It was popularized by Dante's Inferno, which is an allegory of hell, and there's like different tiers, and these certain sins put you in a worse, or I guess better, punishment. But traditionally envy is always on the list, and maybe it's seemingly not as bad as some of the other ones. But I do think that envy is a very dangerous thing to have in your life. I think it's brought on by pride in yourself. You see other things that people have, and you wonder why you don't have them and that you deserve them. So it stems from a high opinion of yourself. So I think why it has made the infamous list of the 7 deadly sins is because I think the natural consequences of envy, especially in regards to your relationships with people, is very high. It's a very high price. There's this movie I really like called Envy, and where this movie is about 2 friends who live next door to each other. They work the same job. One's kind of an overachiever, and the other is kind of an underachiever. He's like a head in the clouds kind of guy. And then the underachiever guy comes up with this crazy idea for an invention. Turns out it's a big hit. He becomes extremely rich, but he doesn't leave his friend's neighborhood. They still live next to each other. So then you got this one guy who's super excited to finally get and be able to afford a bean-shaped swimming pool, and then his underachieving buddy across the street, who he always felt superior to, is now living in this mansion. He rides around on this white horse named Corky. They eat really fine and expensive foods. Their kids get better amenities. So this really eats away at this guy, and so he one night accidentally kills the guy's horse, and it becomes this big story. But yeah, it's basically a story about the natural consequences of what envy does to your life. It ruins the relationships you're in. It skews your view of what's actually going on in the world. You view yourself in this very high light. So yeah, I think envy is a very dangerous sin and deserves to be on the 7 deadly sins list. Last question. What is the best way to approach someone who isn't Christian and ask them to church? I think the best way to do this is to just ask. I assume you're asking somebody because you have a relationship with them, and hopefully, it's a relationship that's built on trust and care for one another. And, if you have relationships like that, and you express to this person that church is something that's really important to you, and that you want to share that with someone else, and you can give your reasons why church is important to you and why you want them to come with you. I think generally, especially if there's a friendship already there, there'll be a mutual respect. It's a very hard thing to do, but the best way to do it is just to ask. And if they say no, it's not like you're not going to be friends with that person anymore. There's always more opportunities. I had more non-Christian friends in my life after I went to Bible college, ironically. Just working around the city, I made some really good relationships with people, and they became like my, honestly, closer friends. I hung out with them a lot, and it was not this, oh, Connor's the Christian guy. We were just friends. They knew that I was a Christian. They knew I was going to Bible college. They knew that it was a very important part of my life. And honestly, that difference between us sparked some of the best conversations I had at Bible school. So just approach them. Do it in a loving way. And don't be upset if they say no, because that's no problem if they don't want to go. Just let them know that it's important to you, and you're doing it out of a love and care for them. I think that if you have a relationship like that, an intimate one with a friend, then they'll understand why you're asking, and they'll probably be expecting it, to be honest. But yeah, those are our questions for today. Keep sending them to me. I'm excited about some of the ones coming up. And all right, love you guys. Bye.